let's learn how to animate in Source Filmmaker. Today I will be basically going through the very basics of animating in this program. Everything from how to make a quick animation, in case you want to, like, I don't know, fill up a scene with a bunch of people just kind of doing whatever. Or if you're just, looking for, whatever. If you're looking for a, a quick something or another to just kind of fill up a scene. Or if you are looking for like just a certain animation that's already in the game or a part of that model. Or if you just want to record, or if you want to actually get footage that would be in a game. I will show you how to do each of those. Once this map loads up, we'll get started. Feel free to join along with your Source Filmmaker once you load up. Hopefully you guys watch the VODs of the first tutorial I did that showed you how to basically get Source Filmmaker started up and everything going smoothly. But I will be going over some of the basics. I'll be talking through everything that I do. And I will continue filling dead air until the map loads in. Good. Alright, so, as per usual, if you're on a lower end computer, your computer's not very strong, you can go in the render settings, hit ambient occlusion, you can turn it off, that'll make your program run faster. Let's go to this camera tab, create a new camera, take control of the camera, and let's move it to someplace a little bit more cinematic. About right on top of the this thing, this bridge. How about that? Usually people would put it here, on the barracks or whatever, but here, or battlements, whatever they're called, I'm gonna put them right here, right in the dead center. So next we are going to create an animation set for a model, and we're gonna wait while Source Filmmaker loads up my things, and we're gonna find the sniper. I tried to do an animation tutorial a long time ago, but I was very bad at doing things, so it didn't really work out very well. But I'm gonna try to do the same thing I did earlier, and I'm gonna try and get the sniper to wave. Just a very simple wave. As you can see, I have a lot of models, a lot of hardware morph models, but right now we just want to put HWM into the filter for the model viewer, and we're gonna go and get the HWM sniper. We're gonna click open, and there's our boy. We're gonna take the camera and move it up. Let's go into the animation set editor. Click on him, and using shift while clicking, move him to the top here. Alright, so, animation. Animation can be done in a lot of different ways. There are a couple of ways how to make really quick animations. Let me show you how you can do that. Let's say, for example, you just want the sniper to wave using his waving taunt. You don't want to animate it, or you're just I actually just want the one from the game. Well, what you would do to get that is I showed this in the last one, you would right click on the sniper's animation set, you go into import, you go to sequence, click on it, and you would click on it, and that is a taunt, and you can see here, all the sniper's animations are all named a different thing. You have run item 1, which puts him in his running position. If you want sniper to run, holding item 1, which is Girardi. Most of the TF2 models have their own things where they're run melee. It's run underscore or attack underscore and then melee or melee all class, which is something like the frying pan or the Saxy or something. We have run pastime, which has him with holding the ball for pastime. We've run secondary, which is him, you know, they're all classified by what slot the weapon would go into, so you can use that to help you find whatever you're looking for. But if we want to look for taunts, you can actually push the first letter of the thing you're looking for, which will take you to the first one that starts with that letter. And we can see here there's taunt 1, which is the wave, which is the one that he does with his rifle. That's what we want. They have all the other ones, like, they got the arrow one, they got the hat one, but we want this one. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on it, and you're going to click open. And from whatever pose you have the model in when you decide to open this, and we press play we can press play on the thing by pushing space or by clicking this thing right here. And you can see we've imported the waving taunt. And I'll just continue to loop forever. To get into how to make this more accurate, I guess I can go into the animation set editor as a whole. We talked about it for a little bit. The animation set editor basically shows you all the motion information for the model and the bones that you have selected. So, and the green here shows you what you have currently selected in the timeline. So you can see when it's in this position where there's these like jaggedy arrows at the side here, that means that it's selecting everything forever going this way and everything going this way. We can grab this and pull it, and we can narrow the selection of time that we have selected. So right now, I have everything from the beginning to the end. We can also, you know, you can just select whatever. Anything that isn't highlighted with this green is going to be what we don't have selected. Now let's say we only wanted the sniper to wave once and then go back to whatever he was doing. Let's go to import sequence. Press T to go to the taunts. Click taunt 1 and click open. Now as we scrub through, we can see that it's only applying the animation to what we have selected. We can increase this time by clicking and holding, and you can see that it's printing the motion information as long as to whatever we have selected on the timeline. And you can see that resets back to whatever the position that we had before. So if we wanted him to just wave once, we would select the time that it takes for him to go through the entire animation. You can press play, and he just waves once. No, it isn't just his A pose. We can have it in whatever pose we want. We could have him like upside down. Oh wait, hold on. Let's undo all the information. Right. Well, I'm basically just trying to show you guys is that you can do this. He doesn't have to be in any pose whatsoever. He could, or even this is actually pretty good. Anything that you change with this, like I showed in the last one, it'll change it to green, and it only applies the animation or the change to wherever you have highlighted. You can change it, and it'll make him change positions only in what's highlighted. You can animate in the motion editor, but how I do it is in the keyframe editor, which I will go into more information later. Just a heads up, this is going to be a lot of information that I have to talk to you guys about because, you know, it's a lot. It gets pretty in depth. So that's importing a sequence that's in. All those sequences, all the animations are what's written to the model. Now what if we had something that we had, like, let's say you did some motion capture. I don't know how motion capture works actually, but some people on the workshop have added certain animations that you can apply to different models. If you want to take one that isn't on the model, but you have a file for it, you can go to right click on it, and you can go to import animation. And that'll bring up this a file directory, and you go through it into your directory. And let's say you download one from the workshop, so it'd be in workshop. I believe it'd be in scripts, SFM. Is that? I actually don't remember where they are. Oh my god! Wow, this is. I probably should have looked this up earlier. Hold on. Oh, I know. Elements. Think animation. Okay. So they would be exported as these DMXs. Let's say that you want to try like TF2 Gangnam Style dance. There's this, and it'll bring up this window that tells you, here are all these bones that are written, that have the information written into the thing. And when it's green, it says it's telling you, I have found the bone that is in this script, and I will apply this to this. If it doesn't have it, sometimes that's fine, because it's just kind of going over, like, it's spreading it over a wide thing, so some models don't have those bones, but it's not like a big deal. So you click OK, and up. Usually you don't want to apply these to the root transform, because it will put it wherever the root transform for where they imported it into the script. But you can see it moved him down here because it applied it. It moved his root transform down because that's what the information was in the script. So we'll just bring him back up. You can see that it has started to put in an animation onto Sniper that makes him dance like this. It kind of stretched his neck out a bit, but yeah. All right. So the last way you can use to get quick game footage would be to record it in game through Source Filmmaker. What you do is you go to Windows, and you can go, or you can press F11 and go to Enter Game Mode. When you do this, it will put you into Team Fortress 2 through the game mode. And you can see here is the model that we've spawned. We can't interact with it in any way, but here it is. And we just basically put this scout here. Let me actually move him like here. And you push F11 again, and it'll switch you back to SFM. Now, if you click this record button, it's going to begin to record everything within the world right now until you abort the recording. So just to show you, we click record. It's going to show you what it wants you to record. We don't... a lot of these you actually don't want to record, because it'll create all these entities within the game, including like health and ammo pickups, and they can litter the area and create lots of entities in the game that you don't really want. So what we're going to do is we're going to uncheck props, effects, sounds, miss entities, particles, sprites, brush models. This is basically so we don't create a clone. What we want right now, just to show you this, is just the player. So really we could just uncheck everything. And we hit record. Oh, so you can see down here, there's the scout. It's well, there he goes. But yeah, you could, so we can back out by hitting escape. And if we go down to world camera, we can see our scout is now here. And when we push play, we can see all the stuff that the scout was doing. You probably want to record, you probably don't want to record the way how I did it. You probably want to do it from, like, take the camera angle and everything so you can actually see what you're doing. Sometimes you don't if you want to see in third person. But, yeah. if you just want to create like a like really quick like a character running through and populate an area, like if you want to record yourself a couple times or just copy this character, you can, to make it seem as if the character that you're animating is in the game world. If you want to do more stuff with this character, you go to create animation set from existing entities, and here you can see, here's where the camera is that we're working with, but also you can see the scout, scattergun, and all of his weapons. So we just click these, click OK, and here we have your character and your player model. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah. So the gun isn't locked to the scout, but you can move him around, and we can like mess with his bones and stuff and change some things if you like. I don't think originally it was broken. Yeah. So weapons, I think, are kind of broken right now. I think maybe if we go into utilities, maybe reattach the model. Nope. What about rebuild control groups? Yeah, sometimes weapons are just kind of finicky and they're like, I don't want to play anymore, and they just won't let you control them. I can try like locking it to all those things and then see if that works, like that. Does this work now? Nope. All right, so basically weapons can be kind of jerks. Even if you like delete them, they don't go away from the thing at all. So we just kind of have this gun forever here, which is why I don't actually record myself doing things, because it's bugged right now. But yeah, those are your very quick ways of just getting out an animation if you don't want to get a hands-on animation. All of them have their place, but if you want to, if you just make your entire thing just with those, it's kind of, you can, your audience is very easy to, it's very easy for your audience who's familiar with the game to be like, oh, he just recorded this. This isn't like actual animation. I can see that he just recorded this. So instead, let's make our own animations. To do that, we are going to go into the keyframe editor right here, or the graph editor, sorry. And it can look a little confusing and a little spooky at first, but it's a lot simpler than you think, and I'm going to walk you through all these things. First, let's apply a rig to our sniper. Rigs are the best to animate with, because for me, I don't know, maybe you want to do it the other way, maybe it's easier for you, but for me, I want rigs on my models. So you have these cursors. These are each used for working with the information that you're going to be putting into the graph editor here. You have a cursor that just allows you to select everything and move it about. You have a move cursor, which allows you to move certain points. You have a hand. Honestly, I don't use any of these. Really, I just use the select because I have found that it's pretty much it encompasses everything that you would probably ever need. Here you have the different ways of splining tangents for your animation information, which I will get into once we start animating. Here you have these toggles that will change how information is written to your model, and you have your key mode, which will set how the information it connects together. That was a lot of words, and I'm just now realizing that they don't really make a lot of sense to you. So let's actually animate so that you can really understand what we're doing. So first, we're going to go to 0 where your thing is. You can move the entire timeline by clicking this thing at the bottom in case you have to see it in a different way. And we're going to click everything on the sniper. Go to this key here, and we are going to click it to create a key. The graph editor records whatever position and rotation, whatever is has a key here, and links them together using these tangents and these key modes and the overwrite toggles. I'm doing my best to like try and dumb this down as best as I can, so I think the easiest way would probably be to show you. You can very easily zoom in and out of a timeline by using your scroll wheel. And let's move it just like 1 second in time here. We have this key set here. Let's move sniper into a different position. Let's say like this, and like this. Just have fun with your sniper. Just kind of do whatever with them. You can turn them and skew him. Just really fuck this dude up. Just make him however you want. Just do whatever. Let's just make a real human pretzel out of this guy. Let's stretch him a little bit. Move his head down. Let's bring it forward. This. Let's move his hand like. Let's like touch his belly. Like that's the top priority here. Let's pull him on his tippy toes. Let's actually have his hand in the same position. You don't have to do that. I am. Okay. So now you can see as I was changing things, you can see that all these like lines started moving in different directions. Click the timeline and push up. Well, sniper's back in the position that he was before. But if we push space and play, he animates into whatever position that we have in the second key. But you can see that his hand here stays in the same position because we didn't put any information there. What the keyframe editor does is it makes bookmarks in between each position that the model, or every position, every slider, every thing that has happened with the model, and then uses math to put it together as to how the body or the model is supposed to move to this position. And if we click everything, click on the bookmark and push delete on your keyboard, it removes the key and everything goes back to normal. Or rather, you just remove the information from the timeline. So animating in Source Filmmaker is very simply going from one pose to another. The way how I do it is I start by changing the key mode to stepped. Let me click on this and we go to this one, the step tangents button. Actually, let me go back. Let me go back. Okay. So I'm gonna go back and explain how each of these different states change. We're gonna select both of them. We're gonna go to, actually I should put a second one in here. So I'm gonna actually copy by clicking on it and holding down Control and C and then pressing Control and V. And we can copy keys to put in there. We're gonna make them like this. Mocha Medics, thank you for following the channel. We're just gonna do this pose. We're going to click on sniper and we're going to press the fastest way to put in like keys. If you don't want to like push this and you haven't done anything to the rest of the bones, but you want to make sure everything is bookmarked, you can press M and that will instantly put in bookmarks on everything you have selected. Okay, so if we play it, he goes from this pose to this pose to this pose. Now, let me explain what each of these different tangents do. Let's go back, like what I said, the step tangents here. If we click it with these keys selected, it changes it so that instead of connecting them together, it makes it instantly snap to the next tangent. Maybe you want to use this in your final animation, maybe you don't, but I use this to begin to plot out how I want the animation to play out. If we go to this one, the linear tangents, the poses are like, they're just like the lines connecting each of the informations there go completely straight, and they're just like, okay, go from this to this to this. There is no, it is complete linear, it's linear. So it's kind of as if it gives it kind of a robotic feel, because there's no like anticipation or anything in it. There's also this one, or rather this one, I'll do this one, spline tangents, that kind of takes information from what's before and what's after the keys, and kind of adds a little bit of anticipation, loop, and like blends them together a little bit. So like, let me actually put some more time in between these, so that you can tell what's happening. Alright, so here's it with the tangent splined. See how it's a bit smoother, or it's very smooth in transitions. Let's select it again and go to linear. See, now it's just 1, 2, 3. There is no more anticipation or smoothness to it. It's just going to one to the other. If we go to this one, the flat tangents, it's kind of a cross in between the two. It's not smoothing them together, it's just kind of easing into each of them. These ones I don't actually use. Unify tangents, I have no idea what these actually mean, or what these actually do. It doesn't seem to do anything. I think it's only in certain cases. Equalize tangents. Yeah, I don't think these really do. Oh, this one does something. Unweighted tangents. Let's just see what it does. Let's just take a look. Is that any different than splining it? It's a little different. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I think it adds some weight to it. Actually, I might want to try playing around with that a little later. But anyway, the ones that I really use are these four right here. The linear, the flat, the splined, and the stepped. Stepped I use to plot out key poses, and then flat I usually use when I'm trying to find the positions in between the two like key poses. Linear I use if I need to like make a motion with no anticipation, like if it's a sudden movement. And linear I mostly just use for everything else to make it seem more human. So let's actually just get to what I wanted to animate Sniper doing, which was a wave. Just a very simple wave. Every time you see someone like, oh, I've made a new workshop item, they always have the character waving. So I feel like that's the most universally understood. This is a thing. Hello, it's me, Sniper. Do you recognize me? It's me, Snippety Snipe Man from the the second Team Fortress game series. I want to actually change the field of view a bit. Just bring it down, because that's bugging me. Really only need to see this much. Don't enable messages and show up. Sorry. Yeah, no, for this tutorial, I'm not really, like, talking about messages, but thank you, Obvious Ninja, for your $2. I appreciate it. So let's just, pose Sniper really quick with a, just a normal pose. And actually, like, make his feet flat since you can't see them. One thing that you should keep in mind is that if your audience can't, if the camera can't see something, feel free to just kind of break rules. Save yourself time, make things easier on you. If you want to. Let's just give him just like a normal everyday good time pose. The music that's playing right now is Nightmares on Wax. You can see the music down below. There is a widget showing what is playing on Spotify right now. Yeah. Alright, so, the Sniper, well, maybe let's, the completionist good boy in me wants to, like, make this, like, a whole thing. We can just have him with the face, but at least let him look at the camera. So, to start, we make our key at the front, the first key with all the bones, and we have our thing in stepped mode. Let's make Sniper wave. So, every time you move this forward, you are, it's moving forward in, 1 frame. There are, right now, by default, your Source Filmmaker should start in, I believe, 24 frames per second. So, 1 second is going to be 24 frames. So, just kind of keep that in mind as to how fast everything is. Like, 1 frame is, like, nothing. There was no time in between it. 3 frames? It's pretty fast. It's, like, it's about, or, like, 5 frames is, 0.2 seconds. So, right now, we want to think, what are the key poses in waving? It's very simple. It's arm down. We have that already. Let's say about 12 seconds, maybe? Half a second? Well, maybe a bit more. Like, 0.8 seconds. Like that. And then it's hand up. Waving. Remember to pose the shoulders, the collarbones. Raise them up so that he doesn't look like his arm is broken. And if necessary, act out or even record yourself doing motions that you need a reference to. References are very good. They help you know how something actually moves, how a person actually moves when they want to do something. You can see all the subtle nuances when people do things. Let's move his arm just a wee bit back. Oh. Chance the Monferno, thank you for your free Twitch Prime sub. Hey guys, you know about Twitch Prime, let me explain it to you. If you have Amazon Prime and you link it to your Twitch account, you can get 1 free sub for 30 days to any channel. If you want to support the channel, you can subscribe to me. It helps me out a lot. Hey, we're trying to get to 100 sub points. Every sub that we get gives us 1 sub point. And when we get to 100 sub points, we get a new emote. When you subscribe to me, you can use all of my emotes in twitch.tv. If you're watching on YouTube, perhaps you would like to come over to here, over on fucking Twitch. And then you can help support the channel and help me grow and pay my bills, and then I can make more things for you, and I don't have to worry about getting a part-time job. Fuck. Oh, I almost forgot. Right, fingers. To help the fingers actually move faster when we're posing them, let's go to like 9 seconds, because I doubt a wave is gonna last 9 seconds. And we push O, and that will cut the time down. It'll cut the clip all the way down to 9 seconds, which makes it easier for you to do the thing. I also noticed that for some reason it's still splying the tangent, so let's select every bone on the sniper by clicking this, and clicking these with shift held down, and click the flatten tangents so that sniper will just instantly pop to this. Anyway, let's pose these fingers. I kind of actually like this. Galgo Arts, thank you for following the channel. I appreciate it. Let's move his pelvis. Something that you can do to help keep your hand when you move the pelvis. It also it does not move the hands and everything. Maybe you want that, but if you're trying to keep everything together, you can hold down control and click both hands and the rig pelvis, and move this over a bit. And then let's also change his expression. Let's give him a little bit of a let's give him a happy alligator man smile. Let's raise his lips up. Do some of that. Alloplasmus. Change multi-smile to that. Do his lips up a bit. Jump back a bit. Raise the nose, some cheeks, squint the eyes, raise the eyebrows, some frown, and there you go. This is a strong pose. If you want an easy way to find out if your pose is good, if basically this only applies to key poses, but if you want to know if your pose is very good, imagine that you've just completely made his entire body. Oh, okay, wait. You've made his entire body here completely black, like no features whatsoever. Or if you just took the outline. If you just had his outline, would you be able to tell what he's doing? If you can, you've created a good pose. You can make it a bit better if you make it a bit more interesting to look at by curving things, perhaps adding a bit of a curve to his elbows and stuff, pulling out these, maybe during his hips. We can get a little bit too over, you don't want to push it really far, unless you really want to accentuate, hips out. Wait, hold on, before I do this, I should actually copy this. I should copy the state it's in now. Let's select everything, push M, and I'm gonna copy this, and then you could do and then that, and ooh yeah, let's get real sassy with it. And then let's crinkle let's crinkle up his fingers yeah. The issue with this though is that you're going to have to do more work, and sometimes this can be a bit too much. Like, you gotta realize when animating, if you're like doing a bit too much and you're making your characters just do too much, and it becomes distracting instead of strong translation of what you want the audience to see. Yes, this is what this character is doing. Do that. Now let's give him a little bit of let's actually give him some sexy bedroom eyes. Looks like, oh yes, ladies, he's single. Let's just, oh yeah, look at this sex angel. God's gift to holes, just holes in general. He does not discriminate. He will. Sniper can fuck anything. Men, women, trees. He's an unstoppable boning machine. Oh yeah. Toodaloo. You see this? See this? This is the peak of sexuality. Happy Pride Month. Let's go. No, but that's a bit too much. I mean, I could animate this, but I want it to be simple for the sake of good translation. Okay, so here's our second key pose. We have our first pose, second pose, and the wave is gonna go on for a bit, and then he'll come back down. Let's want him kind of in the same position that I was before. So let's select his pelvis. Click the first key, hold Control and C, then Control and V. Put him back to where he was. And let's bring his hand down. We don't want it to be exactly the same. If you wanted to, you could select his entire body and then select the key and then copy and paste it. But for the sake of making him not look like a robot or making it look less like a canned video game animation, wherein the character has to return to a neutral pose. Let's change up his pose just a bit. Like in a video game, the character is always going to have an idle animation that they always go through, so they have to return to that when they're not doing anything, when an input isn't put into the game or applied to the character. Back a bit. I've never been more afraid of the sniper until now. Well, you now know. Now let's move this hand just slightly back over here. Let's not have it clip into his pouch. Just a slight bit up and change this and move his shoulder back to a relaxed position. Let's move his hips just a bit. And there we go. You can see just the way up. Hold on. I don't know why it sometimes does this, but it does. SFM just takes a while to be like, oh, you wanted me to do everything like this. That's why you said the key mode's a step. I see. It needs a bit more time. When you're doing this, you have to also consider that there is motion that is going to have to go in between these. So account for that. Well, let's just move it down here, all the way here. It's a little bit too long, but it's fine. Okay, so we have the key poses for our animation. It's totally fine. With each of these, you want to make sure you have every bone selected, because you will have to go in between and you will have to change them. And eventually you will have to split up the time in between them. So you want to make sure that there is like a post that archives where every bone is supposed to be, so that you don't have like, when you start animating them and they're not just like snapping to each other, they're not just like, you don't have like his hand slowly moving up when it's supposed to stay in a certain place, or like let's say that his left hand, I know my left from my right, shut up. Let's say his left hand was moving, but his right hand wasn't supposed to move until now. If you don't have a thing here and you spline these tangents, then his arm is going to slowly move until here, where you have a tangent here for it. It's hard to explain, but trust me. Make sure you have a key for every bone in each of your key positions. Okay. Alright, so, next, we want to do in-betweens. In-betweens are like the, whatever goes in between your key poses. One of the easiest ways to do this is to select 2 keys at a time and push the flat tangents or linear tangents, whichever one. Let's go with linear tangents since it's the first one. Or no, flat tangents actually, because it only affects, I believe it only affects these two. Or not. So you can see, like, it does animate, but this is, I mean, you can go with this if you want, if that's how you want to do it, but it looks really weird. Human beings do not move like this. This is not a human animation. There is no, like, one of the things that you really want is, anticipation. You want, like, you want him to, because, like, things don't just move. They don't just go from 0 to 60 immediately moving. There's a bit of a wind up when you do anything. There's like there's a bit of a tell that everything has before it starts moving. Sometimes in cartoons you can just like have a character just move if it's supposed to like, if you just want it to like be a sudden movement and there's no tell to it, you can. Sometimes you can do a very like a 1 frame anticipation then it to make it look smooth. You know, it's all up to you, but in this will not fly. We want to make it a bit more like human. So let's like say at about, this is a 19 frame long thing. Let's say at like 4 seconds. Let's put his hand is here if he's just going immediately to it. Let's put a bit down. Let's use the work camera, not just the camera 1, because we can see a bit better. Let's move his shoulder just a bit down to put back where it was before. And let's put his arm just a bit back down to where it was and bend it down. And let's see, what about we should probably just do this as linear now, because it's gonna start adding information to the in between the keys as stepped, and that's gonna make it look a bit awkward. But let's see, how is his body moving? Let's put also here, let's straighten his let's straighten him out just a bit. Which is like everything except his, let's just like straighten this out a bit. And what we're doing is we're adding some anticipation to his movement so that it's not just all happening at once. Is his shoulders also moving? Essentially, you're just like making it. You're adding. What's the best way to explain this? You're kind of adding a bit, like you're giving him like a very short time to like prepare his body, sort of, to move. I don't know. I'm really sorry, I'm not that great at explaining this, but I hope this is making some sense to you guys. So let's just do it like that, and you can also look at it and see like, oh yeah, see, let's go to it again. You can see that now it kind of, it's not perfect. You are going to have to split these up. To make, because like not everything, another thing that you don't want to do when you're animating is make everything move at the same time. So like one of the easiest things we could do is like make his hand maybe move up after his entire body is moving. That's one thing that we can do later, so that it doesn't look like he's an animatronic robot that's waving to people on a Big Thunder Mountain or something. But this is good for right now. So let's put some in-betweens. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself again. I probably should have put this into a list, but a better thing for an in-between would probably be like, here, we don't want him to just like put his hand up and then immediately down. We want him to wave at you. So like from here to here, an in-between would probably be like, let's take everything here and copy it. Let's take all the information here and copy it and then put it like here. And let's make him start waving. Move his hand like this way, and then this way. Let's go to it and let's change how his fingers are moving. I know this is kind of, a lot of this is kind of complicated, and I hope you guys sort of understand what I'm doing. Think of it kind of like drawing. Like when you draw something, you do a rough sketch just to understand what you're trying to put together, and so that you have a guide as to what you're trying to see. Like you would start with just like lines making a stick man in the position of whatever you want the character to be. And then you flesh it out later by doing line work, by drawing the actual character, the person that you want to draw, or the animal, the dog, the whatever, really rough. And then later you go in with pencils, or you go in with your eraser and you erase some of the scribbles and scratches and stuff, and you clean it up. And then you go over it with a pen, and then you color it in and all that stuff. It's kind of like that. Yeah, like a storyboard. You're when you're blocking it, you're essentially just translating the panels of the storyboard into the character's action, and then you fill in the blanks in between it, because you can't just link those together, and then you refine them. So we'll go from here, taking his fingers, and go to here. and change his fingers just slightly. The fingers you can actually leave for later if you don't want to do them now. You could be like, I'll just take care of the fingers when I do other things, when I take another pass through it. You're essentially just like making passes over and over again on these on your animations. You're just like going over it and refining it again and again and again. Now, this is my again, like I say constantly, this is my process. This is how I do it. But how I do this doesn't have to be how you do it. You can do this however you like. I am not the end-all be-all like high commander of source filmmaker. I don't make the rules as to how this program is supposed to be used. For all I know, I could be doing this like an idiot and doing it completely wrong. This is all how you think it should look. As we scrub through here, it looks... want to add... See, it looks kind of awkward if he's... Actually, hold on. Let me try, like... try using the spline tangents. Yeah, that's a little awkward. We want to maybe a bit more time here with this one. And you're gonna have to look over it and be like, this looks a little bit weird. This looks a little bit less weird. This needs more time. This needs less time. For here, like, as this goes from here, like, I'm saying this now and it's like, one of the things I'm noticing is as he's like waving left, right, left, going from like these two, his fingers have weight. His fingers and the angle of his hands have weight to them. So it looks like he's actually like waving his hand. When it moves here, the rotation of his hand doesn't really respond to how he's moving it. So I'm going to rotate it back a bit, move it to the side a bit, and we're going to go to his fingers. Adjust them just a wee bit. Give his fingers just a wee bit to change. I completely understand. I'm definitely gonna be doing this in betweens. Oh, good. I mean, honestly, if you've done anime, I would say maybe try doing if you've tried animation in another program. One, you're probably like, this idiot doesn't know what the fuck it. What? No, that's not what that's called. What are you talking about? But also, you're probably like, oh, so this is how this is done in this program. I see. Okay then. Another thing that you'd probably want to do, if we go to his body, you can see that we have information here for his arms. It's kind of because his body is it doesn't really need to move that much. The top part of him can kind of move with his arm moving about, maybe like just spine 2. Maybe we can like add just a little bit of like here where his arm moves, where his arm moves here, we can like twist it a little bit, just to nudge it a bit to the left. And then when it moves here, we can move it a bit, just a little bit, not a lot, to the left. Just a little bit of rotation, just so it kind of adds a bit of weight to his waving, you know. But Source Filmmaker can like when I do this thing. Let me show you something. So you see how like here he stops moving? If you take a key, like if you take a bookmark and we just go to like 3 seconds and we push M and we make it the exact same bookmark and we go in between it and we spline it, it will go from just stopping altogether and creates this kind of like rubber banding effect where he kind of like goes to position, moves goes a little bit more with it, and then back to wherever it was. This can be used to add to like fake idle animation. It's like a fast way of doing it, and like an easy, quick way of putting in idle animation, so you don't have to slightly like move the chest to make him look like he's breathing or moving, so he doesn't just immediately stop after moving about. It's just a neat trick that you can do. I don't do it a lot anymore. I did a lot. Like, if you look at my earlier animations, I did it a lot of times. But, don't rely on it. But you can use it. It's not bad to use it. It's not like a sin if you, do it. Anything that makes your job easier, go for it. But if you want to push yourself to make maybe a better product, just be like, I want to handcraft my own, like, ending to this. I want to make him, like, I want to give Sniper his own breathing animation that I can loop and make it like, yeah, he's still alive. He's not just standing there motionless. Yeah, so we have this, and, but you can see also his body's doing that, because these are the exact same keys. To make it seem a little bit less like that, I'm going to take his body and just very slightly adjust it. Just really, really, really minuscule changes to him. Because he moves back, I'm going to make him move a little bit more back. Let's have a little bit more time to that. And let's take everything and spline it, and let's see what we have. Okay, this looks pretty good. You can see that he's waving, so good, that's accomplished. But we want to change a couple things. Like, you can see that in the beginning here, everything's kind of moving at the same time, and that's a little awkward. So let's change that by we can just select his entire left arm. And let's change the timing on his arm to make it seem to make everything not move at the same time. For example, let's move this little like anticipation thing. Let's press M on this to make keys for everything in his arm, so we don't like mess up the timing on everything. And let's move it a bit forward, like this. And let's take the point where his arm comes all the way up. And let's move it forward. But so that we don't mess up. Well, maybe we want to make this a bit shorter. If you want to take an entire an entire animation and not change, like if I liked how fast he was waving like this, and I kind of do, what we can do is we can click this key and click the key at the end, and we want it to be like a bit slower. We can move it entirely to the left. So now it looks a bit less robotic because his hand comes up after his body stops moving. Let's also do something. Let's also split up how his head moves. And let's take his face too. So usually if I want to split up the stuff that his entire body. Oh, another thing. If you want to like scrub through things, but you want to keep the head in the same place, selecting the timeline, you can hold down Shift or. Cool. It doesn't want to do it. All right. No, that's fine. Never mind. I'll just accidentally do it later, which is what I always do. But. Anyway, usually when I'm trying to move things around, I select from the head. A lot of times it's from the head to spine 2. And let's like take it and add like 2 seconds more to everything. Maybe 3 here. And I actually want him to like smile a bit faster. So I'm going to take, what you can do is you can either move this all the way to the front, or you can copy it and paste the first key here. Let's make him like begin his smile here. Yeah, like that. And at the end, let's make his arm come down a lot slower than just kind of flopping down. Pancakes1112, thank you for your 19-month resub with Twitch Prime. It'll be on the test of if you want to actually make Source Filmmaker animations. That test. Okay, so here we also should put an in between here because you see how like awkwardly his hand kind of like collapses? We don't really want to just kind of fall flat because that's Sourceful Maker saying like, all right, I'm putting this, and just kind of sliding it down. What we want to do instead is we want to take this here. And let's make his hand move in a more human sort of way. Let's take his just kinda like, I don't need to be able to select the fingers. I wanna move this. You're basically putting in information here so that Source Filmmaker is like, oh, you don't want his hand to just like take the fastest path between 2 points to having his hand put down. Gotcha. Let me know what you want me to do. And we're going to like basically guide it to be like, okay, robot, I want you to bring his hand slow, like down this way. And you just kind of make a path as clean with as, you want to use as few keys as possible to do this, by the way, because if you do too many, then you can overwhelm it and you can make the animation look really awkward. Maybe a little less time here. Right, so we have this. That's good. That's good, but it still needs a bit more information as it comes down. So that's not, you know, it doesn't look so janky. Maybe if we, a little bit more time here, and then we spline it. Nope, it's completely splined. It also looks a little awkward because his body has stopped moving here. So let's add that extra key here for his body. A little bit more time here, and spline it, and then yeah, so you can kind of see as we look through it like this, the arm's path is still a little bit like awkward. So let's add one more key here, maybe like a little bit further down, and like bring his arm, and like fold it out a bit like this. You're trying to like, as naturally as possible, connect this key and this key together. And this key. these three keys. This, or this, and this together. So you want to make whatever the most natural pose between everything with his arms, his shoulders, and his fingers is. Curios, thank you for your 6-month, half a year Twitch Prime sub. Maybe if we even like bring down his arm a bit, like this, or collar, and bring this forward. So you can see we are slowly making this boy still a little bit weird. What we can do, since it's being a little strange, we can actually take this to the motion editor and use these sliders to help us out a bit. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put this here, and we're going to select all the time here, and we're going to go from the beginning of this animation about here, or like where the weirdness starts. It starts in here, and we're going to use. Actually, click on the hand because it's the most weird one. We're going to use the smooth preset. All these sliders have different functions to them. These ones here and here and here. All of these have different functions that will change how the how animation works. These ones are more kind of like, well, they also do, but they're a lot less like active, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, let's use the smooth one. This is probably the most simple one. In a situation like this where things are kind of like janky, well, not that janky, honestly. Honestly, I think it's actually a lot faster, but let me show you how this works anyway. So, I can just go through all these. Smooth will do as it says and smooth out the tangents that you have selected in time. So if we go to smooth and we turn it up, it makes it a lot smoother. It irons out the bumps and wrinkles and stuff in the tangent. So let's look at before, and then okay, let's just reapply smooth to it. It just makes if something is kind of like, if there's a little bit of turbulence in like the bones, you can smooth it out with that. Inversely, we also have jitter, which adds random shakes to the motion. You can see if we look at it here, we look at the information here and we apply jitter to it, you can see it's starting to randomly start to shake, and the more you do it, the more intense the shaking will be. See? Like this. I don't suggest you do the entire thing. What you can do is click this plus here, and you will see position and rotation. I would suggest, and this is a tip that I got from Crazy Halo watching one of his streams, instead of selecting the entire bone, select rotation or position. You can select position, and you can slide up the jitter, and it makes it look a little bit less crazy. It's still pretty crazy, but it's a lot less it makes everything look a lot less random. You can also do rotation of like the hand and turn it up. Alright, that's not doing anything. Cool, great, thank you. Thank you for making me look the fool. Actually, I think it'd be better if I just selected the entire animation. Let's try that. Let's add jitter. And you can continue to, like, you can put more and more jitter on this. Like, the more you slide it up, the more, like, jittery it's gonna be. Yeah, you can see. Rotation, I think, works a lot better for this because it makes it look, like here, it makes it look like Sniper has, like, a weird fidgety hand. If you do position, it just makes it go all over the place. But you don't have to do it all the way. You can even just kind of like do it a little bit. Just give it a little, just kiss it just a little bit like that. And now it makes the thing look a bit more like hi. Like you can see there's a bit of stagger to it. It's a little hard to see, so let me actually maximize this out a bit. Like see? You can see he has kind of like a jitteriness to it. Let's see, what else can I show you? We got ramp. Ramp will change anything that you have selected to go to be 1 and 1. So instead of all this information here, we can just kind of select ramp, and we just make it. It's just a 1-1 thing. Oh, it's all in position. So like his hand is doing all this information. Haha, no. We're going to just ramp it, and now it's just going to go exactly from point A to point B. It doesn't really show in this because, you know, his hand starts and stops in the same position. Actually, let's do like this. That'll probably show you. So like, this is a better way of showing you. So his hand has all this information where it's supposed to go all the way up here and then wave and come back to go up here and wave, right? So instead, he's just gonna raise his hand once we apply ramp to it. See, it just goes to that position. This is very useful for sometimes when SFM. Sometimes if you're rotating things, SFM will be like in the keyframe editor. It'll make it like if you have it like go from be like if you're like okay, I want it to go from here, and then turn up, wrong way or wrong thing. Like I want it to go from this position to this to like or like from here to here. SFM will be like, oh, you want it to go like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, all the way to this? Is that what you want me to do? And it's like, no, SFM, you big stupid idiot, what are you doing? And SFM will be like, I'm sorry, I'm a robot. I only know how to do things one way. I don't really know, I don't understand context. So instead, you can use ramp to, like on the part where it's like flipping it around in the most abstract, out of the way to get to the simplest point to just kind of fix it out. You know what? Whatever. I don't know. That's what I use it for. It's also splining around. It pretty much does the same thing that I was showing before. Like round kind of does the same thing, except it kind of adds a little bit of curve to the spline and everything. Yeah, that's pretty much all of them. These ones are pretty much just for locks and stuff. So again, experiment with them. But for right now, that's kind of it. And I'm actually not sure, but I think we might be. I mean, this looks pretty good. I could like keep going with it and. Like, for starters, I could take all this and like, or what did I do? Take like this stuff here. And yeah, a bit more time there, but this is basically it. This is how you can keep ironing stuff out, but you'll find that a lot of times things aren't 100% perfect when you're animating or with any kind of art, and you keep finding ways to improve on it and like change it and be like, oh, I need to do this, I should do this, I should change this up, I should make this look better. Like right now, I can see here, another thing I could do is take his hand here, and when it like wait. Yeah, okay. Instead of making it just kind of clip through his hand, I could just like, or clip through his pocket, I can add a thing where he like moves his hand slightly back and like moves his fingers a bit. Like, you can get really perfectionist on it, but always remember that done is better than perfect with any kind of art. Just do it to make it done. Make it so that it looks good, it looks presentable. Don't tell your audience what you've done wrong, what kind of mistakes you've made, because they will never catch it otherwise unless they look really far into it, in which case you've already probably made your money and you're probably fine, 100% super good, very rich and strong and beautiful. All of you are lovely human beings and you're all very special. Each of you I'm very proud of. I'd probably like, see, I'm still doing it. I'm like, oh. I'm still like changing stuff. I'm still adjusting things so everything isn't moving at the same time so that his body looks more natural and stuff. But like, yeah. Is there a tongue bone? There are some models have flexes for tongues, but or bones for their faces, but the hardware morph models do have, all the way at the bottom there is flexes for his tongue. Yes. But yeah. This is pretty much, that is the basics of how to animate things. And then now that we're done, we can just like clip it at the end. Bring it down here. Turn on the ambient occlusion. Something that now because you're animating, you now have motion blur. It's best to Rocket Hammer, thank you for your tier 1 sub. Now you can change it so that you have everything synced up. You click OK. With motion blur and SFM, I should actually go over this. You want higher than just the camera settings, because the motion blur, it's not very good. It's like really washed out. Like, see, look, it's like really untranslatable. You can't really see it really blurs it out. So you really want to turn up the samples to like here. And that makes it even more translatable, but oh wait, this might be a better thing because it's not like the middle of an animation. Basically, the higher you have it, the better it translates in the final render. So let's just do the normal camera stuff. Let's change the focal distance, bring it so that sniper is in the middle of it. Let's turn up the aperture so we blur out the background. Let's mess with the SSAO to make it so that he's not covered in gray dirt. Let's go to the editor, show an element viewer, go to camera, click on this, make it a red instead of just a black so that he doesn't look like he's covered in ants. And a nice off red like here. Adjust the SSAO a bit more so that it's just on him. It's like on everything, but it's not super heavy. Radius about here. Change the tone map scale to about here. Now let's save, and yeah. There you go. You have made a nice little animation. That body, when it comes down, it could be a lot slower. And split up. I am still trying to adjust this. Changing the timing on things. there you go. You've made a lovely little thing. Yeah, so I guess that's it for this tutorial. I'd like to thank you all for joining me. I'd like to say goodbye. Just let Sniper keep on waving. Actually, if we hold down control, we'll go to this. We can just have it keep going. Code Freak, thank you for your 5-month resub. And I will see you guys next time. I hope you understood what I just did, and I hope you have a good day. Catch you guys later. Goodbye.